Hey folks, Lachlan here. When I make videos talking about South Africa, I generally do it for the benefit of the small group of international friends and supporters who care whether I live or die. But I'm going to be honest with you. South Africa has now reached a level of absurdity that even for me as a lifelong South African, it's become very difficult to talk seriously about what happens here. I'm going to go through just a few examples, and you'll see why I can't talk about this country on a daily basis and still hope to maintain any degree of personal sanity. Okay, so firstly, at the moment, we have a small political party which has launched a petition to rename the country of South Africa as a whole because it claims that the name South Africa, rather than just being a geographical location, is a symbol of racism and colonialism. Then we have the major black parties that essentially decide the political future of this country. They are so consumed with power mongering and infighting that they are likely to destroy themselves from within. And then, of course, we have the Democratic Alliance, which is generally considered to be this country's quote unquote white party, even though it doesn't only represent whites. But because the leadership is white, it is considered by the majority of this country to be the white party. And my problem with them is that they still try to behave as though South Africa is a country of laws and social norms, when it is not. This country is basically right on the edge of being a real life version of Mad Max. We have among the highest rates of poverty and violent crime in the world, failing infrastructure, a collapsing economy, and yet what is our beloved government going to do? Well, in August, they plan to hold what is known as a national dialogue, supposedly to discuss the problems facing South Africa. This is absurd, of course, because anybody who spends, I don't know, maybe 6 months here can tell you straight off, without any kind of professional education about our politics or our culture, what the problems are. I have spoken at length in other videos about what problems South Africa has and how to fix them. But no, government is going to hold this national dialogue and plans to spend almost R1 billion of state funds to do so. And it will achieve nothing, it will change nothing, and it will just be an empty, hollow circus. And so, based on this, and the fact that I do have a severe physical disability, I spend on average 12 to 14 hours a day, every day, in a wheelchair. I am severely socially isolated because of my physical limitations, as well as the overall lack of accessibility in this country, and I am just barely hanging on to my own mind. I do not have the energy anymore to catalogue the daily absurdity that takes place in South Africa. I just can't do it. So, although I greatly appreciate, and I'm sincere about this, because without the help of my friends and supporters, I would be in dire financial straits. So I genuinely appreciate the support, but I just can't talk about this stuff every day because, as I say, even though I've lived here my entire life, the state of this country barely makes any sense to me, and I don't know how to make it make sense for anyone else, particularly for those who don't live here. It's like living in some satire written by somebody who was clearly on some combination of methamphetamine and cocaine while writing it. Because if you presented the state of South Africa to a film studio as it actually is, the country that I live in right now, the film producer would look at you and kick you out of his office for being too absurd because nobody would believe what happens here. And if I talk honestly about the state of this country and who is to blame for why it is the way it is, I'm liable to get kicked off the internet for violating community guidelines. So I hope you can understand the position I'm in, as well as the mental and physical challenges I'm dealing with on a daily basis. As always, I hope you got something of value out of this content, and if not, too bad. Look after yourselves, take care of each other, and for now, farewell.